Thank you for choosing Fox 14. I'm Sarah Scarlett. First on Fox, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announces a formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump. Pelosi made the announcement today after months of mounting pressure by fellow Democrats. A whistleblower's report claims President Trump pressured Ukraine's president to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son. Democrats say that whistleblower complaint must now be turned over to Congress.
This Thursday, the acting DNI will appear before the House Intelligence Committee. At that time, he must turn over the whistleblower's full complaint to the committee. He will have to choose whether to break the law or honor his responsibility to the Constitution.
The White House responded to Pelosi's announcement in a statement saying, quote, "Nothing new here." And after returning to Trump Tower following a packed day at the United Nations, President Trump tweeted saying, quote, "They never even saw the transcript of the call, a total witch hunt." President Trump is expected to release his full transcript of his call with the Ukrainian president tomorrow. Now Fox 14's D.C. correspondent Bree Jackson joins us from Washington with a breakdown on what's next. Bree, thanks so much for joining us.
Good evening. Well, this is a historic step by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announcing that impeachment inquiry. Now, this comes after months of hesitation. We heard Democrats calling for this for a while now, but what really caused Speaker Pelosi to move forward was this whistleblower allegations that President Trump had pressured the Ukrainian president to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden, his son Hunter. So Speaker Pelosi says that President Trump's actions, because he admitted doing this, that President Trump's actions were a betrayal of our national security, a betrayal of the oath of office, as well as a betrayal of the integrity of our elections. So moving forward, Democrats hope to use this to strengthen their investigations into the president and move forward with the impeachment process.
So will the release of the complete transcript of President Trump's call with Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky settle the issue in Congress?
That remains to be seen. We're hoping, or we will get a look at that transcript on Wednesday. Now, Republicans are saying that Democrats jumped the gun by making this announcement about the impeachment inquiry before the transcripts were released, because Republicans say there's nothing there. They feel as though that there's nothing that's going to come out of that transcript that's going to be a smoking gun. But Democrats are confident moving forward. They're saying that with the transcript and with the president's own words saying that he did pressure or he did at least ask the president of Ukraine to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden, Democrats feel that that is enough to say that the president has violated the Constitution. But it remains to be seen exactly how people move forward with the transcript, just because we won't know what's coming out until Wednesday. So Republicans right now are saying that they don't think anything's going to be there, but Democrats are hoping that they can use it as evidence moving forward with their investigations.
So what is former Vice President Biden saying about all this?
Well, former Vice President Joe Biden is just saying that President Trump has crossed the line and saying that action should be taken, and so he's supporting the impeachment inquiry. And we've heard several Democratic candidates speaking out today saying that Congress should move forward and that President Trump should be held accountable, and that asking another world leader to interfere or to investigate a potential contender or potential someone that you're going up against for the 2020 election, that this is something that should not be accepted. So you can expect this to be used in the 2020 race moving forward. Democrats are going to use it against the president, but depending on what comes out of that transcript and depending on what happens in the impeachment processes moving forward, Republicans could use this to say that Democrats are having these endless investigations and that there's nothing there, and that they're wasting taxpayer time or taxpayer dollars as well as time.
Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight, Bree. All right, well, the city of Monroe has seen more shootings in the first 9 months of 2019 than it had for the entire 2018 year. City leaders are maintaining a zero-tolerance policy on violence, and they tell Fox 14's Chelsea Jones they have a plan in motion. Chelsea?
Well, Sarah, law enforcement is saying the two most recent shootings are related, and Mayor Jamie Mayo says one homicide is too many. The mayor, local law enforcement, and community leaders agree it's going to take teamwork to take the streets back. Crime. It plagues all communities, and the city of Monroe is no different.
It's not bad now. I mean, if you look all over the world, it's bad everywhere.
There's an uptick in major violence throughout the country. Monroe is in comparison to these other cities, is, in my opinion, is safer.
In the last 2 weeks, there have been 2 shootings that happened in the same area. 2 people have died, 3 people have been taken into custody, and Monroe police are still looking for at least one more suspect in one of those deaths. Authorities say the shootings were an act of retaliation, and they will not be tolerated.
If you do the crime, we're going to fine you and put you in jail.
The city of Monroe uses many programs like Project Safe Neighborhood and Neighborhood Watch to help keep the peace. But the mayor says programs and even jobs can't help with these types of crime.
I don't care how many jobs that you have, but when you have major disputes and altercations and revenge shootings and that type of thing, those jobs will not help this.
So community activist Tyrone Dickens says it'll take an act of togetherness to take the city back.
Things happen all over the world. Ain't no reason to be afraid. We just, as people, have to team up together to try to fight this together.
And the mayor agrees, but he says the golden rule is,
if you know something, if you see something, you need to say something.
the investigation surrounding Christopher Coleman and Daryl Stevenson's death are open cases. Monroe police say there is currently a warrant out for Kenneth Coleman, who they believe to be involved with Stevenson's homicide. In the studio, Chelsea Jones, Fox 14 News.
Thanks, Chelsea. Continuing on the crime beat, El Dorado police are still searching for answers to a teen's killing. 17-year-old Octavius Critton Jr. was killed outside of a home over a month ago. Critton's death happened just 2 days before the start of his senior year of high school. The El Dorado Crime Stoppers issued a reward of up to $2,000 for anyone with information. Still, no one has come forward. Critton's family says they're still living in a nightmare.
People say, they're saying it, with time it get better. It's getting harder. With time it's getting harder. Because I don't get to hear his voice, I don't get to see him.
Fox 14's Gabrielle Pfeiffer spoke with police about what they know. Hear from them coming up in our second half hour. A Calcasieu Parish woman is behind bars after police say she left her children alone in a dangerous home. 23-year-old Mary Simeon faces a number of charges, including cruelty to juveniles. When deputies got to her home in Lake Charles, they found the kids locked in a bedroom with no air conditioner. 3 of the 4 had soiled diapers. They also noticed the home was in poor living condition with very little food. They also found synthetic marijuana and an emaciated dog covered in bugs. Simeon says she left her kids, whose ages range from 4 years old to 3 months old, alone for about 10 to 15 minutes. West Monroe is looking to improve the Old Trenton Golf Course and the downtown area to benefit the community. Mayor Stacy Mitchell and city officials are working on an economic development district. The funding from the district will help pay for any specific projects within those areas. At last week's public visioning session, council members and the public shared ideas on how to improve the 2 parts of the town.
We have a plan to work on doing some trails and some bike ped paths and that type of thing on the property. So we're anticipating needing maintenance money as well as maybe add to the improvements there. It does not affect any other property than the former golf course.
The middle 33 acres of the course will be used for public recreation access as well as a detention pond for rainwater. There will be a residential area on the east 7 acres and commercial development on the west 16 acres. A plan for downtown West Monroe is also in the works. New at 9, today students at Louisiana Tech had a chance to hear from a NASA astronaut. Dr. Serena Anyan Chancellor speaking to students about her research in space. Anyan Chancellor says although her research was conducted in space, it's meant to benefit us here on Earth. The astronaut's visit begins the 7th annual New Frontiers in Biomedical Research series. The lectures are free and open to the public on Tech campus. Coming up on Fox 14, Louisiana's Civil Rights Trail is one step closer to getting through the planning stages. We'll explain how a piece of Baton Rouge history will be included. Stay with us.
News sponsored by Go Auto Insurance.
Creed and Creed is all you need. Call 387-5800.
Start your day with Fox 14 Your Morning News.
Preparing you and your kids for the day with the bus stop forecast, showing you how to plan.
The Bus Stop Forecast on Fox 14 Your Morning News. Sponsored by Creed & Creed, your local injury attorneys.
Attention all ULM students and alumni. Here's your opportunity to meet with top recruiters all under one roof at the ULM Fall Career Fair, Wednesday, September 25th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Bayou Point Event Center. Brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Hey, I just wanted to...
Hey, there he is.
Are you looking at the results of yesterday's Constant Contact email? We were supposed to watch that together.
I'm sorry.
I can't even look at you.
Constant Contact. Try email and our new website builder free.
Just one drop. Oh! Gorilla Super Glue Micro Precise. Of course.
Precise application. Controlled dispensing with Gorilla Strength. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
The Honda CR-V is perfect for people from all walks of life. From the daydreamers to the night riders. And the carpoolers to the lone wolves. Let's not forget the young ones. And those young at heart. No wonder people made the CR-V the best-selling CUV in its class. Hurry to your Honda dealer during the #1 CR-V event and get a great deal today.
Be honest. Haven't you missed this guy? Have you missed him even a little? If Ralph Abraham and Eddie Risponi get their way, you won't be missing him for long, because both would bring back Bobby Jindal's failed policies. Abraham and Risponi support the same Jindal corporate tax breaks that helped lead to drastic cuts to education and hospitals. No wonder Jindal's allies have spent millions lying about Governor Edwards. We can't go back. Let's keep Louisiana headed in the right direction. Paid for and authorized by Gumbo Pack.
Bad calls? Not here at Interstate in West Monroe. It's Ram Power Days, where we're passing out great deals without the interference. A Ram 1500 Quad Cab, $22,990. A Cherokee, $18,990. A Compass, $17,990. A Renegade, $16,990. A Journey, $16,990. The all-new Gladiator is $5,000 off. And a Ram 2500, heavy duty, $9,000 off. Shop InterstateDodge.com. No flags? You're the real winner at Interstate Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in West Monroe.
News sponsored by Willis Knighton, home of the healthcare heroes.
Edwards Body Works. Reliable since 1971.
Fox 14 News at 5:30 continues.
Tonight, Louisiana Civil Rights Trail is one step closer to getting through the planning stages. Crystal Whitman explains how a piece of Baton Rouge history will be included.
It's the stories that you don't read about in the history books. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser says the Louisiana Civil Rights Trail is Louisiana's chance to document our past.
Some of the stories, it brings a tear to your eye. So the love and passion we have for Louisiana runs deep in every aspect of everything we do. And surely the civil rights movement.
It was the lifelong work of the late Sadie Roberts Joseph that moved her to include her submission in the state civil rights trail before her death.
My sister and I are taking lead in everything. I will be actually reopening the museum for a couple days a week just to do tours to kind of allow people to come back and visit those who have been before, who want to recapture that moment.
The Civil Rights Trail effort is being spearheaded by the Louisiana Office of Tourism as they travel to several parishes throughout the state seeking input from the people.
Sitting in there, especially seeing the opening video, it's, again, like the commentator said, it needed no words, just the documentation of the photos, just going over the history and momental memories in history just was really striking.
What makes me the proudest is the passion from the people, and see the people from all walks of life and all ethnicities who have come together to help put this project together.
That was Crystal Whitman reporting, and now Jared joins us from the Weather Center. Are things still hot out there? Yeah, pretty much.
I don't really even have to say anything. We can just go copy, paste, move on to tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's getting frustrating, and with the burn bans in place and the drought conditions, it's just going to get worse before it gets any better. Forecast is next on Fox.
Here's the truck you've always wanted, with everything you expect from America's best-selling pickup. Now, with an unexpected offer, get a premium leather interior and full bed liner at no extra charge. The luxury you want, an offer you can't pass up. Don't miss your chance to save on this exclusive offer. Get $11,400 in total savings on F-150, plus premium leather and liner at no extra charge. Only at your Southern Quality Ford dealer.
Ralph Abraham promised to donate his congressional salary to charity, but he lied, took the money, and bought himself a $500,000 airplane instead. More missed votes than any congressman in America. Abraham personally called on President Trump to step down, but joined Nancy Pelosi to oppose a border wall and voted with her over 300 times. Typical politician Ralph Abraham. On so many levels, he just doesn't work for Louisiana.
Whether it's time to get to work or to your weekend, make sure it's all quality time. Get to Nissan Truck Month and save big on a J.D. Power award-winning truck, including Titan, best in quality, and Frontier, best in dependability. Both with the tech you want and the quality you need. Hurry in to Nissan Truck Month today. Get 0% financing for 72 months, plus cash back, and the Midnight Edition package at no extra charge.
Get your mower going. Hunters, get ready. Hunting season is right around the corner, but your yard needs to be mowed now. With Exmark's Triple Play sales event, you can buy a brand new mower and not have to pay until April. That's no payments until April 1st. No joke. No payments until April. This leaves more money for you to spend on hunting equipment and more time for you to spend in the blind this fall. That's Exmark's Triple Play sales event going on now at Ouachita Lawn and Garden.
This is money at other banks. They act like it's theirs. This is money at Homeland Bank. We know it's yours. We take great care of your money. With competitive interest rates on CDs, money market, and savings accounts, we help it grow. We put it to work here in our community to help you start a new business or buy a new house. Real customer service and attention to detail like banking used to be. We're Homeland Bank, your local bank. Where's your money?
This is the Chevy Silverado with the world's first invisible trailer.
Invisible trailer?
Hop in. Silverado offers an optional technology package with up to 15 different views, including one enhanced view that makes your trailer appear invisible. Wow, that's pretty sweet. That's cool.
Where's the trailer though?
Or get a total value of over $97.60 on this Silverado All-Star without optional tech package or enhanced invisible view. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
The Animal House is your local pet store. Cypress Street, West Monroe.
Storm Tracker Doppler Radar, sponsored by bankruptcy attorney E. Orem Young. Now, Storm Tracker weather with Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd.
Look at the live Storm Tracker Doppler radar brought to you by E. Orem Young. Not much out there around the radar site this evening. We did have some very limited clusters of showers develop across southern Arkansas. It didn't last long. The lion's share of the rainfall across western and northwestern Arkansas through the course of the day. Stationary boundary didn't really help us out in terms of any widespread rain in our area. Thus, the burn bans will remain in effect, and all of our drought conditions continue to intensify. Not necessarily good news for a lot of areas that desperately need the rain. In fact, really over the last couple of weeks, the only area that's changed in terms of widespread rainfall, the upper Texas coastline, Houston, Galveston, Beaumont, areas that saw all of the rain from Tropical Storm Imelda. We saw the remnant rainfall in our area, but again, it was very, very scattered. Residual showers across western Arkansas, but the stationary boundary that's been in place really is essentially just washing out at this hour. More active weather with another frontal boundary moving through portions of the plains in the upper Midwest, bringing tornado watches to portions of Iowa and Minnesota and Wisconsin as we've worked through the evening. Tropical Storm Karen continues to intensify a little bit. Land interaction with the island of Puerto Rico has really done a number on Karen over the last 6 hours or so. The cloud tops really warmed with a lot of that land interaction. Now we're starting to see some heavy bursts of convection, thunderstorm activity toward the center of circulation as the center moves a little bit farther north of the Puerto Rican coastline. Still going to keep an eye on Karen as to what it will do later on in its life cycle. The big question mark is, as a building ridge of high pressure forms to its north, whether it will just kind of stop in the western Atlantic, whether it will move off to the west, whether it'll hang out for a couple days, then move west, and what condition will that storm be in at that point? A lot of question marks, but we'll keep an eye on it nonetheless. Burn bans that we know of in place, most of our South Arkansas counties and a good chunk of North Louisiana. Even if you're not under a burn ban, I would kind of shy away from that in the short term. Keep from burning and letting fires get out of control and really cause some major headaches, especially with the low humidity over the next couple of days. Mid to upper 70s for most of us at this hour. Low 80s still hanging on toward the Ark-La-Tex region. Shreveport at 82, Texarkana 81, Monroe at 79. We'll look for lows tonight in the upper 60s. So with skies clearing out, not quite as warm, obviously, with a light southwesterly breeze. High temperatures tomorrow will be back in the mid-90s. Dry atmosphere warms up quickly in the afternoon, and the air will dry out as we head through the overnight. Rain chances pretty close to zero. Winds will stay out of the southwest. Look at the rest of the forecast, and again, not looking for any drastic changes over the next 7 days. Low to mid-90s with morning lows in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. Weak cold front Saturday does not push through the area, but it gets close enough to us that we could maybe ring out some isolated thunderstorms. Beyond that, first part of next week, low to mid-90s for highs. Morning lows in the upper 60s to near 70. Burn bans will remain in place. Drought conditions continue to expand, and it looks as though we round out the month of September on the same note. So we'll probably even ring in the first few days of October on this warm, dry note.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jared.
You bet.
Coming up on Fox 14, Windows is telling users to update or face the consequences. We'll share their warning and what customers could face if they don't heed their advice. And the maker of a blood pressure medication is expanding its recall. We'll tell you why, plus what they're asking doctors to tell their patients.
Edwards Body Works. Reliable since 1971.
Here's your Buick, sir. Actually, that's my Buick.
How are we going to fit in your mom's Buick?
Easy.
I like that new Buick.
Me too.
I was actually talking about that Buick.
I knew that.
Did you?
Buick's fresh new lineup is full of surprises. Get 16% below MSRP on most 2019 Buick Encore models. Plus, well-qualified buyers get 3.8% APR financing for 72 months.
See your Monroe area Buick dealer.
Elections are about choices, sometimes difficult choices. I'm running for state senate because I believe we need real change in Louisiana. But one of my opponents is a career politician, and the other one's a lawyer. The same folks that got us into this mess. I'm just a businessman who wants to get the job done right. Look at there. I just made your choice a whole lot easier.
Matt Parker for State Senate. Real change, real results.
I'm Matt Parker, and I'll approve this message.
How do I use better than bouillon? I just add a spoonful to my marinades. To stir fries? Sauces? Just whisk it in. Brush it on? Sauté. It adds a cooked all day taste. That doesn't take all day.
Better than bouillon. Don't just make it better.
It's time. Okay, let's check our constant contact email results. Oh my goddess.
Constant Contact. Try email and our new website builder free.
Get your game face on, because Ryan Chevy in Monroe is helping you save big. During Ryan Chevy's Big Score sales event, we're lowering prices with big discounts on Chevy's entire MVP lineup. Save $14,000 off Silverado 1500s. Or buy the new Silverado 2500 4x4 diesel and save $12,000 off. Tackle a hometown deal from your hometown team at RyanChevy.com or Ryan Chevy on Oliver Road in Monroe, the #1 Chevy truck and SUV dealer in Northeast Louisiana.
Fox 14 News at 9 continues.
Americans are doing a better job of cutting out carbs and sugar, but there's still plenty of work to do. According to a new report card on the American diet, consumption of highly processed foods with added sugars dropped 3% since 1999, but they say people are still eating too much of what's not healthy. Of the typical American's daily calories, nearly half comes from refined grains, starchy vegetables, and added sugars, and worse, intake of saturated fat exceeds 10%. They say this is due to high consumption of meat, especially red and processed meats, which are strongly linked to heart disease and cancer. Only 9% of daily calories come from whole grains and fruits. The findings were even worse for adults over age 50, minorities, and undereducated and low-income populations. Researchers say the study offers insight into where people can improve our diets and which subgroups to target to eliminate disparities in healthy eating. Well, if you're convinced your child isn't paying attention to what you say, They may not be able to help it if they have lazy ear. It's an issue with wiring in the brain, and it could have a real impact on your child's learning and development. Fox News medical team's Dr. Joette Giovinco explains.
We've all heard the term lazy eye, but you may not have heard of lazy ear or amblyopia. The term was coined about 10 years ago by an audiologist now at the University of Memphis. But unlike lazy eye that can be picked up on screening eye tests, people with lazy ear have normal hearing. Lazy ear is instead a brain problem where people have difficulty processing and interpreting information. Children may often ask huh or what and often need words or phrases repeated. They're often accused of not paying attention or listening and are more likely to get into trouble. Tests for lazy ear involve saying different words or numbers into each ear separately using headphones. Children without the disorder can repeat them without difficulty, while those with lazy ear cannot. One study found about 70% of children incarcerated in a juvenile detention center showed abnormalities in at least one brain processing test. Treating lazy ear involves retraining the brain, but not all audiologists are on board in defining the disorder and haven't accepted a standardized way to test for it here in the U.S. And although more research needs to be done, there's no evidence to show we outgrow lazy ears as adults. For your Fox medical team, I'm Dr. Joette Giovinco.
Now on to a consumer alert. Microsoft is issuing 2 emergency warnings to update Windows now or face security risks. The company says the updates will protect against critical and important vulnerabilities impacting Internet Explorer and Windows Defender. That's its antivirus software. The IE flaw affects versions 9, 10, and 11. The Windows Defender bug makes it possible for a remote attacker to take over a target system and prevent legitimate users from using the software. Users must install the security update for Internet Explorer manually, but the update for Windows Defender will be installed automatically. The FDA has expanded its recall of a widely used blood pressure drug. The announcement targets an additional 5 lots of the generic drug losartan made by Torrent Pharmaceuticals Limited. The recalled lots contain trace amounts of a chemical that has been linked to cancer. This is the 5th time in 2019 that Torrent has expanded its voluntary recall on losartan. Consumers taking the affected medication should speak with their doctors before they stop taking the drug. Nissan and its luxury brand Infiniti recalling nearly 24 various models. It's because of a backup camera display problem. 2018 and 2019 Nissan Altimas, Frontiers, Muranos, Pathfinders, and Rogues are included. The Infiniti QX50 and 60 and Q70 and Q70Ls part of the recall too. Nissan says owners can adjust the camera displays so the image isn't visible. The displays will keep that setting the next time the vehicles are shifted into reverse, which violates federal safety standards. Dealers will update the backup camera software settings at no cost to owners starting October 21st. The company says the repair will take less than half an hour. And in business news, the nation's 4th largest wireless carrier could be in big trouble with the Federal Communications Commission. The agency says Sprint may have wrongfully made millions of dollars. Its subsidies that it wasn't eligible for. The wireless carrier claimed that monthly credits for as many as 885,000 customers under the government's Lifeline program, which makes cell phone and internet service more affordable for low-income Americans. According to the FCC, Sprint was ineligible to claim those funds because it failed to report that the customers were not actually using the subsidized service. Commissioners are calling it the most significant alleged violation of the program's rules in its more than 30-year history. Sprint is currently seeking the FCC's approval to merge with T-Mobile. The carrier did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Still to come on Fox 14, the family of an El Dorado teen killed by gun violence speaks out. We'll share their plea as police continue to work to find his killer. And a smart home gets outsmarted. We'll tell you how hackers took control of the thermostat and the indoor camera of a Milwaukee couple's home. Keep it right here on Fox 14.
2 candidates. One wants to be your insurance guy. The other left Louisiana to work for a wealthy convicted felon. Had 3 company charters revoked, and the Justice Department discovered his company didn't pay 2,000 claims during the BP oil spill. One says he's a conservative. The other, a longtime member of an elite group that wants to raise your taxes. These candidates, they're both Tim Temple. He knows one thing about insurance, how not to pay claims.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan, and I've been representing the injured big truck clients for over 25 years.
We hired Gordon, and he got us on top of our big truck case.
In our case, Gordon got us $1 million.
That's right. Just call me. Get it done.
Call 888-8888.
We all make choices every day, from deciding where to eat to choosing a college or a new job. As your state senator for District 35, I have learned a lot about making choices in the legislature. Few of them are easy, and seldom does everyone get everything they want, but I have a solid record of securing funding and jobs for our region. You have a choice if you want true results, leadership, experience, and integrity in government. I would appreciate your vote.
For something old or something new, Cottonport Antique Mall. The Adult Healthy Living Fair, October 11th at Glenwood Medical Mall. For something old or something new, Cottonport Antique Mall.
And now, your Call Sam forecast first with Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd.
Limited rainfall across the area today. We're at 79 degrees with winds generally calm at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Dew point at 70, but drier air will wrap in as we head through the night. Clear skies expected through the overnight with lows dropping into the upper end of the 60s. Sunny and mild to start the day tomorrow. We'll look for mid-90s through the afternoon. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Plenty of sunshine through the afternoon as well, and heed those burn bans. That's your forecast first for this half hour. Fox 14 News at 9 continues.
You're watching Fox 14 News at 9 with Sarah Scarlett, Chief Meteorologist Jared Floyd, and Sports with Chris Demersion.
Thank you for choosing Fox 14. I'm Sarah Scarlett. Topping our second half hour on Fox, it's been over a month since high school senior Octavius Critton was shot and killed, and still no arrests have been made. Fox 14's Gabrielle Pfeiffer spoke with the teen's family and police, who are pleading with the community to help bring justice.
Octavius Critton Jr. had dreams, goals, but the idea of the future was halted by his murder. The ones he leaves behind are still broken from the past.
Still don't get no sleep. At times I still lose my appetite. At nighttime I lay awake and I think about all of it, but in the morning time it's the hardest because reality kick in when I open my eyes.
It's been a month and a half since the 17-year-old was killed in the street. Though time has gone by, they're still living in a nightmare, especially since the killer is still on the loose.
Still free like they living their best life. And mine been deprived of everything that he done worked hard for.
The El Dorado Crime Stoppers put up a $2,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. Still, no one has come forward.
We know these things, but for whatever reason, we're not getting the kind of information to help bring closure to the family.
The family and police are pleading with anyone who has information to just do the right thing. They say they want justice and peace.
The love for my baby, first of all, this incident would have happened, and secondly for the ones who was there and know the situation. If they love him, then they'll speak up.
Police say before they can make any arrest, they have to have enough evidence to make a strong case in court. Reporting in El Dorado, Gabrielle Pfeiffer, Fox 14 News.
The reward is still out for anyone who has information. Police want you to know that you can remain anonymous. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at the number that you see on your screen. Testimony continues in the trial of a former Dallas police officer accused of killing an unarmed man. Today, the courtroom watched and listened to body cam video as well as 911 calls made after the off-duty officer shot and killed her neighbor. Body cam shows the moment paramedics arrived at the apartment of 26-year-old Botham John. There, they encounter a frantic Amber Geiger, who told medics that she thought it was her apartment. The former Dallas officer shot John last year after she says she mistook his apartment for her own, believing that he was an intruder. Video shows paramedics working on the 26-year-old before he was rushed to the hospital. Geiger, who sat in court today for day 2 of her trial, listened as the court played her 911 call.
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot him. I thinking that he was thinking it was my apartment. He shot someone. Yes, I thought it was my apartment. Oh my God.
Geiger's apartment was directly below John's, and she was returning home from a shift. Geiger is no longer an officer, and she's charged with murder. The trial began yesterday. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced a formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump, alleging the growing Ukraine scandal marked a betrayal of his oath of office. The Speaker accused Mr. Trump of betraying national security and the integrity of American elections with his conduct. And Pelosi vowed the president must be held accountable while asserting that no one is above the law.
And this week, the president has admitted
to asking the president of Ukraine to take actions which would benefit him politically. The actions of the Trump presidency revealed the dishonorable fact of the president's betrayal of his oath of office, betrayal of our national security, and betrayal of the integrity of our elections.
A cascade of House Democrats this week announced their support for some form of impeachment, especially after President Trump admitted discussing Joe Biden during a July phone call with Ukraine's president. And news across the nation, a couple in Milwaukee believes someone has outsmarted their smart home system. The couple says hackers took control of the thermostat and an indoor camera on their Google Nest system. As Ashley Sears reports, things got really scary.
It's supposed to make me feel safe, and I didn't feel safe.
A place of comfort that turned creepy Tuesday.
And my heart was just racing. I felt so violated at that point.
Samantha Westmoreland returned from work to a blazing hot home. The thermostat turned all the way up to 90 degrees. She thought it was a glitch, setting it back to room temperature, not realizing then it was only the beginning of a roller coaster 24 hours.
It gives me the chills just talking about it.
The thermostat continued to go up, and a voice began speaking from a camera in the kitchen, then playing vulgar music.
So I unplugged it and I just turned it facing the ceiling.
She and her husband changed their password, but the problems persisted, eventually contacting their internet carrier and changing their network ID. They believe someone hacked into their Wi-Fi and then their Nest.
If someone hacks into your Wi-Fi, they shouldn't be able to have access to that those Nest devices without some kind of wall that they have to get over.
The couple is upset their $700 system was a gateway into their home.
Hopefully someone hears this and this awakens them or alerts them to this is happening.
The Westmorelands want others to be aware. Hackers are outsmarting the smart home.
People need to be educated and know that this is real and this is happening, and it is super scary.
Now, Google, which owns the Nest system, says the system itself was not breached. The company says the couple likely used a compromised password, which can be avoided by switching to a two-factor verification. Jared, I mean, that's kind of like something out of a scary movie. Like, you know, they're inside the house, kind of. Yeah.
Thankfully, I mean, they only had access to the thermostat in that small network of cameras.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, if you have other things, smart locks perhaps attached to your home, they could get in there and unlock the doors to your home. And
it's creepy
stuff either.
It's really creepy.
As technology continues to give us more conveniences, it also causes more problems, too. Full look at the forecast next on Fox.